Hi, my name's Alex Russell. I've been a client of Magenta for 4 years, initially with Julie and now working with Gretchen. 4 years ago I thought we might need some help with our finances because we'd reached a stage, my partner and I, where we were bringing in a reasonable income and we were thinking about the future and how we could make sure that the money that we were bringing in was being put to best use for our future. I listened to Moneybox on Radio 4, as you do, and Julie was on there and she was talking about, in a really inspiring way, about how women particularly need to think about what sort of life they want in retirement rather than how much money you want in retirement, and actually to sort of switch your mindset into that mode of thinking. And she talked really eloquently about that and how she supported her clients and they were living really sort of wholesome lives, and it wasn't about great big portfolios, but it was about having the life that you want and putting that sort of front and centre. And it was that interview that made me think I would really like to speak to these people about what they do, because their philosophy seemed to chime with my own. When we first made contact with Magenta, I had an initial contact with Julie, and she was very accommodating. She listened quite a lot to our lifestyle now and our aspirations and values about what we were interested in. And then we met face to face in an office in London, and we talked in more detail about the types of things that we thought we would want to be happening in our lives when we were older, and sort of the types of activities that we thought we would be doing and the type of life we would lead. 3 biggest benefits in working with Magenta, I think, have been one, they've sort of debunked and demystified the whole world of kind of financial planning. So I feel like I wouldn't say that I know about sort of where to invest stocks and shares and all of that stuff, but I definitely feel as if I've got a better handle of that world and how it can work for me. Secondly, I would say that I feel that I've got a much better handle on our financial situation in terms of, the income and where all our expenditure goes, and so just having that better understanding makes me feel a bit more in control. And thirdly, Magenta has been on hand when we've had changes in our financial situation. So life isn't smooth. There's always things that change. Jobs change. Life, it changes, and so family situations change. And so they've been on hand to sort of support us through those things, give advice, and make us feel that it's all manageable, really, and not to worry, and to feel confident about our situation. If I wasn't working with Magenta, would I feel as assured? Well, I know from before working with Magenta, I was a bit in a spin about what we should do and how we should do, and what's the right thing. And I would research all these things about stocks and shares and various investments, and wouldn't have a clue what I was doing, and I felt very out of my depth. And now I feel like I'm in a safe pair of hands. I would definitely recommend Magenta, and I regularly do, to people that are in my sort of circle of friendships. And the reason why is because I think they're really accessible, and for most people, unless you work in the financial industry, it can be quite an overwhelming experience, and so people just end up not doing anything, and they just sort of put money in an ISA and that be that, and not think through the full picture. And actually, I think, having gone through this experience, I feel that we're so much more in control, and we've got so much more of an understanding of what we're doing, and that is all down to Magenta. So I would highly recommend them to other people. Magenta provided a solution that allowed us to make investments that align with our core values, and that was really, really important to us. And in fact, we didn't really realise that we could do that until they explained, having got to know us as people, they had suggested that we might want to look at sort of ethical investment, and which we just jumped at when we were offered the chance to do that.